Hi, this is Tim. A common question I get from you is how can I transition from a maintenance technician to an automation technician? You've been turning wrenches, doing electrical troubleshooting, and really keeping the plant running for years at your job. And now you want to make that jump over into controls, and that can be a significant and intimidating jump. Now, your electrical foundation is going to be instrumental in you making this transition. You know power, you know safety, and you know how to troubleshoot it. But you're going to have to convert your knowledge from knowing the hardware of the system to knowing the programming of the system. For example, you know coils and you know contacts, and you know that they mechanically move as we run electricity to them. We're going to have to convert those coil and contact knowledge that you have into bits and into memory location. And the first critical piece that you're going to need to understand, and I will say that skipping over this piece is probably the number one thing I see people do, and probably the number one thing that they fumble by doing, is you need to understand the PLC scan cycle. If you don't understand how it reads its inputs, executes its program, and writes to its outputs, then when you have an intermittent problem, which is really what you're trying to move your skills up into, then you're going to really struggle to troubleshoot the machine. The second big hurdle is networking. Everything is connected over some type of network now, mostly Ethernet, whether it be Ethernet IP for Allen Bradley devices, PROFINET for Siemens devices, or Modbus TCP, or there's several others out there. And up until now, IT has been taking care of that, or you probably have been saying that they are controlling that for you. You're going to have to start understanding IP addresses, subnet, and what does it look like when a device drops off of the network. You already know the value of hands-on work. You did not learn to terminate a panel by watching videos alone. So you're going to need two things to make this leap. First of all, you're going to have to pick some training to dedicate your time to. And I'm going to highly recommend that you pick a very hands-on training. That is going to work much better for you coming from a technician role where you have been mostly hands-on compared to getting into a theoretical class. Second, you're going to need a PLC trainer, some hardware that you can practice on. Now, we do have PLC trainers available, but you also may be able to leverage the spare parts at your company. Ask your supervisor, hey, can I take some of these spare parts and mount them on a board? That way I can practice to do my job better for you during our downtime. Now, very important thing when selecting the PLC trainer, going back to that hands-on piece, whatever you do, being a technician, you do not want to buy a trainer that's all perfectly pre-wired for you, because that's the piece that you really need to understand. You know the electrical, and you're trying to learn the programming. Well, the part that brings those two together is the wiring. So find a PLC training that you can wire up, that you can, once you have it all done, you could pull a wire loose, and then you can think through, okay, how would I troubleshoot this? And then you're going to do that over and over and over again. And that repetition is going to build up that muscle memory so that you can use the PLC as a tool to troubleshoot your machines faster. All right, now take that fantastic electrical foundation you have and let's put a layer of control skills on top of it. Get you some gear, get practicing, and I'll see you out in the field.